Chapter 5 focuses on the strain that state testing can have on education. Aha areas in the chapter that stood out to me were some of the suggestions to be successful when dealing with continuing state testing and policy changes. One of the more important ones to me is that teachers have to be satisfied with their job. You have to really genuinely like what you do and know why you do it. A positive attitude leads to being open-minded, resourceful, and accepting or tolerable to change. I have been at our campus 3 years, and this year has been there has been more emphasis on state scores now since we recently received a poor grade from TEA. Our staff and administration have taken measures such as hiring additional staff, liaisons, and tutors, just to name a few. Even though the pressure is on for us to perform well this coming year, the culture of our school still believes that what's most important is individual student growth, safety, their development of social-emotional skills, their overall development and happiness. I would have liked the chapter to touch on how or if there are other successful education programs that use the accountability system in other areas of the world and what it is they do to be successful. Chapter 6 opens up with explaining the different generations and their place in education. We have a small campus. In our small group, we have a baby boomer in administration. I myself am from Generation X and 2 millennials. Upon looking at the chapter, it was pretty spot on describing the generational characteristics. In my short tenure, I have noticed that more and more millennials are getting hired in education. The chapter offers great insight on providing a successful transition, such as expanding induction activities, creating collaborative opportunities, and adding value to them. When dealing with Gen Z, the chapter really gets it right describing today's students. The overall idea of the chapter deals with knowing your students and understanding their learning style and adjust to it. An example that comes to mind from our last school year involved our English teacher. She had her students create a Facebook profile for characters of the Shakespeare play. To me, this was a great way of integrating a lesson with today's learner. Chapter 7, I was introduced to scans in the chapter. I had never heard of it before, and I see its relevance. Eventually, curriculum should somewhat or match a global economy to prepare students for their future. I agree that it is important to expose students to their cultures of the world and provide student skills to adapt in a world where learning never stops or to be global ready. Most of the tools in this chapter touch on required 21st century applications. One tool it mentions that I would like to see more is virtual reality. I find it interesting that you can travel anywhere, see anything from a virtual perspective. I'm sure we are going to see more and more of it and hope to see it soon on our campus. I also found it interesting in the chapter how much has shifted in curriculum from When a Nation at Risk to the 21st Century List created by the Digital Citizenship Foundation and Apex Learning. Ultimately, the idea is to get students global ready and teach them to never stop learning.